day, everyone. I hope in whatever time zone you are in, you are a-okay. So you might be wondering why we are going to have two major topics of discussion this today, but about religion and health. But we are going to find a connection between the two and make a connection. So let's start with religion. Okay, would you believe that in the Philippines and Asia in general, health and religion is somewhat interconnected? I bet that's something new. Right, so let's start with religion as a human right. So, according to Article 18 of the UN Declaration of Rights, everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. So, according also all right. I'm sorry for that. All right. So, religion, let's break down the definition. Religion is actually the belief and the ritual concerned with supernatural beings, powers, and forces. So, if you're going to ask people what is religion, they're actually going to be talking about faith and practices and beliefs. And most often than not, people would actually equate religion with faith. But in reality, guys, faith and religion are two different things. Faith is your belief and your obedience to God and to a deity of whatever religion that you belong to. And religion is actually a set of practices or a set of rituals and beliefs. And what we call these beliefs is actually belief system. So belief system pertains to ideas, how the social world operates or should operate, depending on the religion that you are in. So the type of society, like for example in Asia, for example, is very religion based or very much based on their belief systems. Like this is very evident if you go to East Asia, Southeast Asia, Buddhist and Hindu countries. Their culture, their practices is actually very religion laden. All right. So there is what we call institutionalized religion, and there are actually 5 of them. And when we say institutionalized religion, it's because these religions are really big, and they have a lot of followers, and they also have different sects or they have different branches of practices. Like for example, in Christianity alone, we have a lot of belief systems under Christianity. We have the Catholicism, we have the Orthodox Catholicism, we have the Protestantism. Then under the Protestantism, there are also different branches of religion, right? In Buddhism, there's the Theravada and the Mahayana, and then there's also the Tibetan Buddhism. If you go to Islam, there's the Shia and the Sunni. Okay, so let's just run through these religions. No, just quickly enough. So, Judaism is founded on the belief that Jews have a covenant with God as His chosen people. Christianity is actually founded by the followers of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who was on a mission from God to save humanity from sin by offering personal salvation. So, Jesus alone, actually, the religion of Jesus was actually Judaism. So, Jesus did not create Christianity, but it was based on his teachings. All right, Islam is founded in Saudi Arabia by the Prophet Muhammad about 6 centuries after the death of Christ, in the very region in which Christianity took root in the Middle East. So, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is what we call the Abrahamic religions, simply because they actually started from the same father, and that is Abraham. Christianity, if I remember it right, for a while, right? Okay, so Judaism, Christianity, and Islam again is actually the Abrahamic religions, and they actually from Abraham's son. What I hope you are familiar with the story of Abraham and No, so Christianity actually branched out um, from Isaac, and Islam is actually branched out from Ishmael, the brother of Isaac. All right. So in Hinduism, there is no known founder. Its basic tenets are largely rooted in samsara. What is samsara? Samsara is the process or the cycle of birth to rebirth. So this is what we call the reincarnation. And Hindus believe that they have to go through the process of samsara until they reach achieve the what we call moksha or the nirvana. No, and Buddhism actually is a challenge against Hinduism. Buddhism is considered to be one of the most practical religions of all time. Why? Um, according to its founder Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha himself, that is Buddha, he taught that salvation is actually within one's control, and that nobody can actually, there is no God that can help you save you but yourself, that and your good works. No, and there is no belief in a God who will save humanity, and the ultimate goal is also to achieve nirvana. Alright, so why does religion exist? So religion provides meaning to life and answer to perplexing questions. Religion brings social solidarity, like for example, um, it brings about people of the same principles. Like for example, katong when the Philippines was undergoing the reproductive health bill, and then so a lot of Catholics or a lot of Christians were actually um, gathered together to oppose that bill, to oppose the reproductive health bill. If you could, I don't know if you were born already, but okay, I'm old, so I've already seen that there was a lot of placards outside the church saying to no to reproductive health bill. All right. Third is that religion also serves as a social control. Now, this is actually according to Karl Marx. And during the time of Karl Marx, there was already famine, there was chaos in his time. And he found that since people were already scared of God, and in order to make people follow the laws of the land, they actually used the Bible to instill fear and obedience among the people. So if you don't want to be excommunicated, because they said that if you do away with the church, then you are not going to heaven, and that is something that they do not want before in their time. So, and even during this time now, but we just have different concepts. During their time, they do not want to be excommunicated, or they do not want to be cursed to hell. So they actually use the Bible to make the people obey their laws, right? So health, diba? This just quite fast lang. All right. So health as a basic right. So according to UN Commission on Human Rights, the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being without distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic, or social condition. So according to Section 2D of the Universal Healthcare Act of the Philippines, it is a people-oriented approach for the delivery of health services that is centered on people's needs and well-being, and cognizant of the differences in culture, values, and beliefs. So, the right to health for all people means that everyone should have access to the health services they need when and where they need them, without suffering financial hardships. So no one should get sick and die just because they are poor or because they cannot access the healthcare services they need. So good health is also clearly determined by other basic human rights, including access to safe drinking water, this one, and sanitation, nutritious foods, adequate housing, education, and safe working conditions. So, the right to health also means that everyone should be entitled to control their own health and body, including having access to sexual and reproductive information and services free from violence and discrimination. So, there was a lot of cases a long time ago of people kanang um, those poor people who do not could not go to the hospital and get treated because they're poor. They have no down payment or they could not pay the fees. So there was when I started working, when I started paying for my PhilHealth, that is the mandatory contribution by the government. So it started with 450 pesos per 3 months contribution, but they increased it to 600 per 3 months, so tag 200 per month to siya nga payment because because of this Universal Healthcare Act that one citizen, one paying member can send an indigenous person to the hospital and get treated. And I think the service has already expanded now. So those who are poor can actually go to the hospital and get treated. But the sad thing there is that these people still has the stigma against themselves and saying that dili rami maulaw mi, we can just look for alternatives, or if mamatay di mamatay, right? So they still do have that mentality, or simply because religion and health is actually their health practices is actually very much affected by their religious practices also. And I will be discussing later on mag-blind item ta which of those religions are kind of very much influential in their healthcare practices. Okay, so what is health? So health is a state of optimum capacity of an individual for the effective performance of roles and tasks for which he has been socialized. That's according to Talcott Parsons, one of our structural functionalist theorists. So refers to the state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being. It represents one's ability to cope with everyday activities and to bring a fully functioning person. So according to WHO, World Health Organization 2001, being someone in a complete physical, social, and even mental well-being. See? Right. So according to this is an extension of Talcott Parsons' theory of structural functionalist. He defines that there's this theory, or there's this term that he introduced, the sick role. So sick role refers to the societal expectation. Okay, just let me underline that one. Societal expectation about the attitude and behavior of a person being viewed as ill. All right, so let's check. Okay, I don't have any animation. So first situation: menstrual cramps. Is this sick, or if a woman has menstrual cramps or dysmenorrhea, is she sick or is she ill? I'll give you that. Is she sick or is she ill? Menstrual cramps. She is ill. Brain tumor. Someone who has brain tumor, is she sick or is she ill? They are ill. Fever. They are still ill. And cancer, they are still ill. No. What then is sickness? If menstrual cramps and if the simple menstrual cramps and fever is being ill, and how much more if brain tumor and cancer is still being ill? Now, when are you sick and when are you ill? So being ill is influenced by foreign forces, meaning virus and bacteria. So if your body is not functioning the way it should function, then you are actually ill. However, you are sick Being sick is socially constructed because there are signs manifested due to illness. Okay. If you're going, like, for example, dysmenorrhea, there are women who actually are experiencing dysmenorrhea, but you may not notice it. You may not know because they act normal. So they are ill, they are not sick. However, if that woman with dysmenorrhea would suddenly show signs to everybody and to let everybody know that she has menstrual cramps, then now she is sick. Okay, next. Someone who has cancer. If that person just has cancer and not everybody knows about it, or she doesn't manifest signs of having cancer, then she is just ill. But if she shows signs already, the loss of hair, and everybody would notice it, and then she becomes weak already, and that is now already considered to be sick. All right. So, being in the sick role, there are rights and obligations. So, rights of a sick person, they are exempted from their normal day-to-day responsibilities, and generally they are not blamed for their condition. So, you might say that, why are they not blamed for their condition when, sa kanang, for example, lung cancer, diba? What if these people are actually chain smokers? So, gaba nila, diba nga? You were abusing your body, so that's why you had lung cancer. And why is Talcott Parsons saying that it's not their fault? No, simply just for the idea that they did not actually smoke so that they could get lung cancer. They smoked because they wanted. Diba? Kulay point. They were but in reality, if you look at Magad in the context of when Talcott Parsons wrote this theory, makaingon jud ka nga, they're not generally blamed for that situation that they're in, simply because it was not known during their times. But sa ato nga time karon, marag time sa best, tinuyuan na jud na best. Ba? And obligations of a sick person. They're obligated to get well, and that they should seek help from a competent practitioner. Okay, connection between the two. People embrace religion to find explanation and justification for health issues, and health practices are faith-driven. Okay, people embrace religion to find explanation and justification for health issues, diba? Usually, it's very common here in the Philippines. Alang, ano kang nagdaot nga gaba na nimo? That's your karma. Diba? Maana ka dayon. Okay. Let's go further. Okay. So there are actually religions that helps the connection between religion and health. Some say that you might think that meditation in the first picture, how can meditation actually help in your being healthy? Diba, we said a while ago that part of being healthy is actually of being sound mind in mental well-being. But in science shows actually that yoga is actually good for your body. It actually helps regulate your muscles and your blood flow, and it regulates high blood pressure, and it also cleanses your mind because it helps you take off things through meditation. Second, there is also a religion, I will not tell you what it is, a religious affiliation that do not actually believe in blood transfusion. There was a story I heard when I was in high school, and this happened way before, I think 80s or 70s, I think so. There was a student in my school before that, their child needed blood transfusion. But the parents, because of their religion, did not agree to a blood transfusion, and the school was so shocked by it because she was the only, I think it was a male child. He was the only son of of that couple, and he was a well loved student in the school, also very famous. So very famous. So the school actually organized those who can actually donate, and there were a lot who were compatible donors for that family. So the teachers actually convinced the parents to allow the blood transfusion, but because of their religion, it did not happen. The blood transfusion did not happen, so the child died. All right, see, because of religion. And there was also a story before shared by my professor in medical sociology. One day, this mother cooked breakfast for for her husband and child before they go to work and before go to school. And then after that, she went to the river to wash clothes, and then suddenly she just collapsed. And she was pronounced dead. She was not brought to the hospital because immediately, parang automatic dead when she collapsed. And they said that she was kanang there was a not like ours kanang earth elements nga kuan are the reasons for her collapse is because of mga nanuno sa punso, or maybe she was not able to ask permission before she was washing clothes by the river. But however, she actually had a sibling who was able to live in the city, so she learned a couple of things also. So she insisted that her sister undergo an autopsy, and it was there that they found out that the woman, the deceased, was actually pregnant. She actually had ectopic pregnancy. What is ectopic pregnancy? It is when the egg cell, the fertilized egg, attaches to the fallopian tube instead of the uterus. So kung binuang pa ni siya, kung natubo to siya nga baby, nahimo siyang hotdog. Pero of course, it's not a joking matter. So the baby actually burst. The fallopian tube actually burst and caused bleeding and poison. So the mother died. See? So there's religion and health practices are very much connected, especially in the Asian regions, because religion and health, especially in Asian countries, is very much connected because it is much easier to connect kanang it's much easier to connect it together. Like for example, in Hindu and Buddhist countries, they are very much into karma. Karma is one of the driving force of their societies. They believe that your present life is actually a result of your past life, and whatever you do in your present life may affect your future life. That is karma to them. So para sa ila, if you are sickly in your present life, that means that maybe you are someone who is very sinful in your past life. All right? And that is all for religion and health. It's just very comprehensive. It's all very comprehensive. So if you want to further research, you can actually do so, and you can share your comments in the open forum. All right? Thank you.